Well, it looks like the Swifties are rising up. As predicted, this Taylor Swift movie is about to make big, big money. They're putting it between 90 to 100 million for the weekend, which is pretty good. That's up there with like an Ant-Man opening weekend. I don't know if this is just domestic numbers either. Did this release worldwide? They're not very clear on that. But either way, this movie has probably already made its money back. It's probably already made its money, which is insane. So, I mean, yesterday alone, it made $39 million. So that's quite a bit of money. So this cheap little concert movie is going to make all the money. Probably will make money next weekend, too, because I don't think there's really anything on the radar until The Marvels. And I don't think anyone's going to go see that, at least if we're going to go by predictions that people are making based on pre-sales and surveys or whatever they're doing. But, I mean, we have a lot of history of cinema that we can judge things off of just on a couple of days of pre-sales. Sometimes they're wrong, but most of the time they're pretty close to where we'll actually land on stuff. So I think that The Marvels has a high chance of failing. Now, it could surprise everybody and do real well. That's always a possibility. I think the first weekend the movie will do pretty well. I don't think 100 million is out of the question for this movie the first weekend. They're saying it's going to be much lower than that. It's going to be around Flash levels, which would be an embarrassment for Marvel to have that movie released that low. I think it'd be great. Be hilarious. Finally proving the point that nobody cares about this character. You can't sandwich it between two Avengers movies this time, which is what really made that movie the success that it was. But it tricked people. Tricked people into thinking that this lame character is popular. Maybe she is. Maybe we're all wrong, and this movie makes $1 billion. I'm going to press X to doubt on that one, but, you know, anything's possible. Captain Marvel 2 is tracking nowhere near the first movie, which was sandwiched between two Avengers movies, written by Matt here, and he's absolutely right. More info is revealed about the Marvel's box office estimates and ticket sales, as they are reported to be less than DC's The Flash, which mega bombed. The Flash opened at $55 million back in June and finished with a worldwide gross of only $270.6 million. Recent reports have also offered the Marvel's pre-sale tickets are down 70% from that of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, of course, opened with a $118.4 million weekend. So if the ticket sales continue this trend, that would mean the Marvels could open to around $39 million at the box office, less than Flash. Back in 2019, Captain Marvel opened to $153.5 million and brought in over $1.1 billion. Don't think this movie is going to make anywhere near that kind of money. Highly doubt that. That movie had the benefit, as written already before at the top of this article, of being sandwiched in between two of the biggest movies of all time. Without a doubt, I think that for many people, Infinity War and Endgame are kind of like a generation's Empire and Jedi. They really kind of are. Had the same kind of similarities. You know, they had that crushing kind of defeat at the end of Infinity War, and then Endgame. Kind of, you know, the Return of the Jedi moment. Even though those movies didn't have anything between them, if they had, they probably would have made $1 billion too. So I do think that it had a lot to do with things. But we'll see. Maybe that popularity continues. Maybe she is the greatest thing since bread, and she is going to rise up and make another $1 billion. According to YouTuber Grace Randolph, while reporting on the problems with Marvel and that Miss Marvel has such low ratings on Disney Plus, Marvel started to freak out about the Marvel's pre-sales and is scared by the lower numbers. What's interesting to me is that Miss Marvel is so bad, but I'll tell you something else. I'm going to tell you a little tea right now. I don't even know if I should, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, she said, I heard the pre-sales from the Marvels the other day were so bad that they really scared Marvel. Randolph continued, they were as bad as the pre-sales for a recent, let's just say, a recent non-Marvel superhero movie. That's all I want to say, because it'll be too tantalizing if I say what it actually was. I don't want it to get too big. And she's, of course, talking about The Flash. Grace Randolph can be hit or miss. I do want, if that's true, I mean, it's logical to think that anyway. Like, it's not, you don't really need an insider to tell you they're worried if their ticket pre-sales are on the same numbers as Flash. Yeah, that would be concerning, because this would be yet another flop for Marvel. They've only had one hit this year, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Everything else has flopped. From TV to movies, all of them have been shit. All of them had low ratings. I know we have Loki out. Loki, I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if I even want to, to be honest. I hear mixed things. Some people say it's okay. Some people say it sucks. That's a problem, that you're not turning everybody on. Everybody used to like these movies. There was no division like this. It's sad, like, that you let this happen as a studio, because you have this franchise, and by that I mean all of Marvel, should not be in the position that it's in. You have almost since the World War II era, back with timely comics of stories to tell, and you chose to rush ahead to the shit that didn't sell well, instead of really adapting those great timeless stories that have stood the test of time that you had access to. And you're going to do stuff like Armor Wars now without Tony Stark. Secret Invasion was the comic book story in name only. Like, you have these tried and true stories that are, like, loved and still time. Like, I could go sit down and read the Secret Invasion graphic novel right now, and it's not their greatest story, but it's still pretty damn good. I could sit down and read all that shit, and it's still good. And you chose to change it into something completely different. It just was stupid. It's a stupid decision. Nothing but stupid decision after stupid decision that they've been doing for the past couple of years. And it's finally starting to affect their bottom line big time. You can't just throw out some shitty Captain Marvel movie and think people are going to go see it. You can't just throw out Miss Marvel and expect people to like her. Like, she's got a history of not being liked. That's why nobody watched the show. Nobody knows who this character is, and you haven't done a very good job of propping her up. Like, this is supposed to be the movie that props her up. And how is it going to do that if no one goes to see it? So, pre-sales are bad thanks to Miss Marvel. Randolph thinks that they're bad because of Miss Marvel. Nobody watched Miss Marvel. Nobody watched that show. I actually heard that the show was okay from a couple people. I just have no interest in watching it. I just don't care about Miss Marvel. It's just like a teenager show, and it's fine. I don't. If you can make shows for kids, and that's what that show is. I just don't have any interest in watching. I just don't care. Don't care about Miss Marvel. No interest in watching that show. And I wasn't alone. It was one of the lowest rated shows ever for Marvel. And that doesn't, you can't do that and then expect this character to be like some box office draw. Brie Larson has to be the box office draw here. That's why it's so funny that they took her name off. Like, the Thing. It's not Captain Marvel 2, it's The Marvels. It's just wild to me. So, yeah, honestly, I'm going to laugh if this movie fails. It'd be funny to me to see them lose again. They're finally starting to figure this shit out, which is why Daredevil got delayed and canceled. Well, they didn't get canceled, right? They're still going to make the show, but they shot half that show and shut it down. Maybe you should have watched this movie and made changes. These people are idiots, man. Took them this long to try to fix things, and it might be too late. Even after this, we have Echo. That's going to drag shit down even more. They should just not release that show. That would be the smart thing to do. Don't release Echo. Don't release Agatha either. Nobody wants Agatha. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Are you done with Marvel? What do you think is going to happen with this movie's box office? Do you think that it will be this big of a failure? Let me know what you think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.